Started with a ceiling collapse, and then another. Students living at a halls of residence caught the moment on camera. We saw the video online and paid them a visit. I found the place was damp, even smelt like soil. We wondered if this was just a one-off, so we looked into it. After a call-out on social media, I want to hear about your student accommodation. We were swamped with hundreds of messages and images that left us shocked.
I've constantly been getting sick living in this accommodation.
I had no water in my taps for 7 months.
It was leaking brown water onto my bed.
Our house was full of black mold.
We didn't get any help.
It took them 3 weeks to repair.
Structural integrity of the building, like you can see.
At the University of Sussex, Ahmed, an international student from Pakistan, lived on campus in Norwich House. The words on the door here now read highly toxic, keep out.
We went to the reception and they told me that my allotted room that I have paid for isn't available because it's undergoing maintenance. Then I read the words pest control written outside my room.
Over the next 7 months, cockroaches plagued every corner of the flat. There was vermin in the kitchens, in their food, and on their dishes.
They just kept coming. Like every other day, it was just getting worse. In my kitchen, cockroaches were everywhere. Groceries, dining table.
He was moved around flats multiple times with no permanent solution for 7 months. And when Ahmed went to complain about the vermin, he was taken aback by the response.
This woman told me to my face that she is surprised that I'm complaining because where I come from, my culture or my home essentially, it's pretty common, right? I live with cockroaches, so I should be chill. Why am I complaining for 6 months? And it threw me off a bit that she thinks this way. Washing cockroach feces from my dishes every single day was just so dehumanizing of an experience. And all of this continued for 7 months, made me just, made me think of how the university sees me and my flatmates.
It wasn't just Sussex dealing with vermin problems, and it wasn't only students in university-owned accommodation who felt ignored by their housing provider.
So if you to go through there, flat 9 they've got cockroaches right now, currently in their kitchen. Flat 20 have I wouldn't even call it a leak, it's just a constant flow of water.
ITV News visited private accommodation in Manchester recommended by multiple institutions. Abigail moved in at the beginning of the uni term. She pays over 800 quid a month here. She's been trying to get a permanent shower fix since November.
It's like there's no support here.
And you have complained about the leak though since you moved in.
All the time. I think there's plenty of emails and being like, hey, sorry to bother you, but is anything going to happen about this?
Abigail and her neighbours claim they've made countless complaints about the block that constantly go overlooked.
I don't think they're taking it seriously. I think they're looking at us and laughing at us, really, and I think they know what they're doing. I think it would be a different story if they were replying to emails considerably in a good time and actually putting in an effort, treating us like we're children.
These are not just childish issues though. Loads of students came to us with complaints. They claim they arrived to showers which were filthy with mould, fridges uncleaned. Reports of vermin were allegedly not acted upon for weeks. And when we visited, severe leaks seemed to be hammering different flats. Complaints rarely solved in a reasonable time frame, if at all.
Water was leaking out of the ceiling light, and when you press on the light bulb, all the water just comes flowing out. There was no hot water, which was amazing to come back to. But I had a bucket, luckily, that I would just boil the kettle a couple times, fill up with hot water, and then shower out of a bucket, really, for a month.
But you're paying nearly £800 a month to not even have hot water in the flat? How does that make you feel?
It's just a shame. Because there's a new set of students every September, these issues keep getting pushed back to the point where it's just the next tenant's problem, basically.
The state of some of these, roofs falling in.
Tom Allingham is an expert from the advice service Save the Student. He claims this is pretty common.
Is it getting worse, or what's the reason behind it?
The numbers of students going to university is currently at a record high, and the level of student accommodation hasn't kept up with that. So it's that classic scenario where supply, or rather demand, is growing and growing and growing. Supply isn't quite meeting that. And with that, not only is cost going to go up, but in some cases, clearly, people are allowing standards to slide a little bit because they know that the customers, the students, don't really have any choice.
Starting university should be a sign of new beginnings, not new battles with what students describe as unlivable conditions.
Oh, Sam, you were inundated with stories from students, weren't you? What have the universities had to say?
Yeah, I mean, they've been responsive, to be fair. I mean, the University of Sussex told us they provided new accommodation to tenants in Norwich House, which is where Ahmed was previously saying. Said they treat any issue that impacts the well-being of their students very seriously. They would not have made this decision unless it was absolutely necessary, and offered residents a goodwill payment. They also added they take any reports of prejudice or racism extremely seriously. A formal investigation is currently underway. But when it comes to the issue with private accommodation, it appears to be when there's multiple agents, multiple landlords and multiple maintenance teams dealing with the property. When it comes to getting the issues fixed, the students seem to be falling in the gaps there somewhere. I mean, if you've ever rented, you know it can be an absolute nightmare to get problems fixed. So especially if it's your first time renting, you can imagine how difficult it must be navigating some of those issues. And what should be one of the most exciting times in these students' lives is often overshadowed by the frustration of poor housing.